Knowing music theory is the most important thing when learning piano because it's the language of music. But just like learning any language, it's going to be tough. There are so many new things to learn and concepts, but eventually it'll become second nature to you. So when you're playing a song, you won't have to think about these crazy music theory concepts that you're learning because it's second nature. Just like a language that you're speaking, you don't have to think about what you're holding, right? You know that it's a microphone. So in this video, I want to go over the basic concepts of music theory that you should know as a pianist. Music theory isn't just concepts. There's a straightforward application to songs that you're learning or that you're writing. And there are 4 parts to every single song that a composer thinks about either consciously or subconsciously when writing a song. The first thing is what scale or key is the song going to be in. The next thing is what chords will be used within that scale. The third is the rhythm and feel of the song. And finally, what melody will be played over those chords. Let's get into it. So what is a scale or key? Well, if you look at a piano, there are 12 notes. If you were to play these 12 notes at random, some may sound good together, but others won't. You need to play a combination of some of these notes in order for them to sound good. And this combination is called a scale, which is usually grouped in 7 notes. In this song, Everglow by Coldplay, I'm playing a specific scale called the E major scale. And you'll see that I'm playing certain notes while not playing others. If I were to play a note that's not in that scale, it would sound pretty bad. Here's another Coldplay song called Clocks, and I'm playing in the A flat major scale. Again, you'll see that I'm playing some notes and not others. So these are the 12 notes on the piano: C, C sharp D, D sharp E, F, F sharp G, G sharp A sharp B. Now each key has their own scale. This is the C major scale. This is the D major scale. Let's skip to the A major scale. And again, if I were to play a note that's not in the scale, it wouldn't sound good. So let's start with the C major scale. This is by far the easiest scale because it only has white notes in it. These are the notes in the C major scale: C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. Well, how did I know that these notes are in the C major scale? Well, there's a simple formula to build any scale which looks like this: 2 whole steps, followed by a half step, 3 more whole steps, followed by a half step. A half step is when you play a note and play the next one directly after it. So from C to C sharp is a half step, from F sharp to G is a half step, and from E to F is a half step. A whole step is going from one key to the next, but skipping a half step. So from D to E is a whole step, from E to F sharp is a whole step, and from G sharp to A sharp is also a whole step. Now that we know what whole steps and half steps are, let's build our first scale starting on C. From C to D is a whole step, then from D to E is another whole step. Now we need a half step, which from E is going to be F. Then a whole step is going to be G, then to A, then a whole step to B, finally a half step to C. Now we have the whole C major scale. As I said before, this formula is used to build any major scale. So let's apply this formula and build the E major scale. So the E major scale starts on the E. A whole step from E is F sharp. Another whole step is G sharp. A half step is A. A whole step from that is B. Whole step again is C sharp. Then D sharp, whole step, and then E with a half step. So if you're learning a song, make sure you know what scale the song is in. Here's a picture of all the scales on the piano. This is a lot to remember, but you're not expected to know all these right away. Just start with 1 or 2 scales and build up from there. As an exercise, I want you to try to build a D major scale and a G major scale. Make sure to check out the PDF in the description below to make sure that you were right. Chords are the foundation and base to every single song. The melody that is being played in the song is literally chosen because of the chords. Chords are 3 or more notes played at the same exact time, and every note in every single scale has its own chord. And there's a simple way to figure out what chords are in the scale. To build a C major chord, all you have to do is play the note C, skip a note, play the next one, which is an E, skip a note, and play the next one, which is a G. That's our C major chord, C, E, G. To find the rest of the chords, you do the same exact thing. The next chord is D minor. The first note is D. Skip one, play the F, skip one, play the A. That's the D minor chord. The E minor is E, G, B. F major is F, A, C. G major is GBD, A minor is ACE, B diminished is BDF, and then we go back to our C major chord, CEG. So these are all the chords in the C major scale. And as you may have noticed, I named some chords major and some chords minor. The difference between a major and a minor chord is basically in the way they sound. There's more to it theory-wise, but we'll just keep it simple for now. The major chord just sounds happy, and the minor chord sounds sad. So this is C major, and this is C minor. Every scale has the same amount of major chords and minor chords. The first chord is always major. The second one and third is always minor. The fourth and fifth is major. The sixth is minor, and the seventh is diminished. And again, that's true with any scale. So if we look at the G major scale, the first chord is going to be the G major, the second one is A minor, third one is B minor, fourth one is C major, then we have the D major, then the E minor, then the F sharp diminished, and finally back to the G major. Now, in any song, you aren't just playing random chords from the scale. You're choosing about 3 to 4 chords within the scale, which together makes something called a chord progression. So let's look at the 7 chords in the C major scale, and I'm going to choose the 4, 5, 6, 5 chord progression. I'm referring the chords to numbers because it makes it easier to transfer these chords to a different scale. So let's play the 4, 5, 6, 5 in the C major scale. So F, then to G, then to an A, then back to G. If I wanted to play these chords but in a different scale, different key, all I need to do is play the 4th chord in that scale, the 5th chord in that scale, and the 6th chord in that scale. It makes it so easy. So let's do that in the E major scale. The 4th chord in the E major scale is the A major. The 5th chord is the B major. And the 6th chord is the C sharp minor. You could play hundreds of songs with this chord progression. There are 2 songs that I love to play that use these chords. The first one is All Time Low by Jon Bellion, and the second is Car Radio by 21 Pilots. I'm gonna play both these songs twice. The first time is in the C major scale, and the second time will be in the E major scale. I just wanna show you that once you know the scales on the chords and how they correspond together, you could literally play any song anywhere. This is a list of all the common chord progressions in songs. What I would suggest you do is memorize all the chords in the C major scale, including what number they are within the scale, and play through these chord progressions. Then learn another scale and do the same thing. Also, if you're learning a song, try to figure out what chords you're playing and what the chord progression is. Check out the description to download a list of all the common chord progressions. Now let's talk about rhythm. Rhythm is the key to getting the right feel and emotion in your songs. A musical phrase is usually written in sections that consist of a certain amount of beats. A beat is a measure of time in music. For now, you can think of a beat like what seconds are to a minute. There are 60 seconds in a minute. So there are 4 beats in a section of music. There doesn't necessarily have to be 4 beats in a section. There can be 3 or 2, but this is shown by a time signature. The top number dictates how many beats will be in a section. Now we have this blank canvas of 4 beats, and there's so much that we can do here. Now with our chord progression, with a 4, 5, 6, 4 chord progression, I could choose to use 4 quarter notes to fill up each section of music. So it will sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or I can use 2 half notes and it will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I could use eighth notes. Now eighth notes, the way you count it is basically there's 2 eighth notes in one beat. So that would be 8 eighth notes in 4 quarter notes. It would sound something like this. 1, 2, 3. And the way you count eighth notes, you would add an and in between each number. So it would be like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... 2 and 3 and 4 and... We could make this way more interesting. We have so many note values. We have eighth notes, quarter notes, half notes. We could combine all these within the framework of 4 beats in each measure and make something really, really interesting. We could do something like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and... Right? That's a cool rhythm. Or we could do something like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So if I were learning a song called Let It Be by the Beatles, and in the tutorial you were playing something like this, what I'm really doing in terms of rhythm is counting 4 beats in a very cool rhythm. It's something like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So both my hands are playing off with each other and creating this really, really cool rhythm. Let's do it one more time. I'll play it slowly and you could see that my hand is playing on an and in one place, my right hand is playing after it. Let's do it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... As practice, go over these rhythms and try to make your own rhythms. Write down 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and try to figure out where you'd want to play the chords. Melodies are super important when it comes to music, obviously, because it's the thing that you listen for. But the melodies aren't just random notes. The notes are chosen from the scale and also chosen based on the chords that you're using. So let's play my favorite song, Clocks by Coldplay. This song is in A flat major. And the melody in the verse goes like this. Right? In the left hand, I'm playing this chord, which is the E flat major chord. And while I'm playing that chord, I'm also playing this melody. Right? Then I'm switching to the next one. But this note, this E flat, is in the chord that I'm playing in the left hand. And when I'm going to the next part of the melody, I'm also changing to the B flat, and this part of the melody has a D flat, just like the chord does. So you see how the chords and the melodies are really connected. This B flat is also in the chord that I'm playing in the left hand. Did you see that? I'm playing this note and this note, right? Which are both in the F minor chord. The B flat is sort of like a leading tone, so it's the C and the A flat that we really want to hear. Let's do that one more time. Let's look at Demons by Imagine Dragons. To me, it's really obvious that this melody is following the chords. Because look, the first chord is a C in the song, and the melody when I'm playing this chord is this. The notes that I'm pressing are basically all the notes in the chord, besides for this D. But this D again is like a passing tone. So the next chord is an A. And look, in the melody, I'm also playing an A. I'm playing an A minor chord here. Look, A, E, and C. And then the last chord is an F. And I'm playing the F in the melody. Now with everything that we learned, I'm going to make a song in the E major scale. I don't know what I'm going to play yet. I'm not going to explain what I'm doing, but I want you to think about the chords that I'm using and look at the right hand and see how the melody is playing off the chords. I'm going to choose these 3 chords. Now let's make a melody out of that. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you got some value out of it, let me know what you think in the comments, and make sure to subscribe to this channel because there's way more coming.